The 80s big event is Friendship Games. However, it can be easy to forget that 80s responsibilities go beyond just Friendship Games. With that, what are events post-FG that you plan to host? Do you have any new events that you want to host that haven't been done before in the last few years?
Yeah. So, other than FG, I want to hold more events that are throughout the year so that ADs aren't only known for that one event. I want to allow Kasamas to have a space to come together and create bonds and community. And one thing that I had in mind that I discovered recently is Assassins. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like a senior game that people would play in high school. Kind of like tag, but instead of tag, it's like a water gun. I would like to do that with like the whole org or whoever is up to participate. And yeah, yeah.
So outside of FG, like we have our annual talent showcases like GBM Jam, underrated. But I want to make sure that every Kasama finds their place. I know we all have. There's so many personalities and interests within our organization, and I want to make sure that everyone finds their niche. So, having an open forum so that people can express what they want to see. Like I think Manu said, there's so many different interests. Like you said crocheting. Like people like cooking, like sports, like video games, anime, etc., etc. One idea I have for a new event is like a game show night. Everyone's seen memes and stuff like Steve Harvey and Jeopardy, and growing up, like fond memories of watching game shows with my grandparents turned into me as a little kid making like little templates of Family Feud, Jeopardy, stuff like that. It's gotten much more sophisticated over the years, but I've done some other things like that in high school and with my small group on Go Team in the fall. And it's like an easygoing, fun event to ease people into the space, allow people to bring out their competitive uses, like said with Assassin, and possibly using it as a copy event for newcomers to like team up with returning Kasamas and for people to just mingle with others.
The event, or one of the events that I have planned, will be something a little bit more intimate. I think in preparation for like events such as FG, PCN, anything even like the social picnics and like the smaller events that I had planned, I think it's really important to highlight the students and the members' individuality. So I would host a creativity event where you can make maybe a tote bag or a picnic blanket or your attire bag. These are things that like highlight not only the students' individuality, but allow us to provide space and resources for the student to connect with their fellow Kasamas. A lot of these things is like, oh, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that you wanted to express that side of you. There's a lot of things that we don't always get the intimacy to learn. And by being in a quiet space, one another with each other, it doesn't even have to be quiet. But by allowing them to express themselves individually, they can bond over the things that they may know from one another, like paint and connect by.
What part of spirit, pride, unity, and friendship, or SPUF do you already see here in Kasama Law? And which pillar do you think it applies to other than social? How can you make it stronger through return?
I would say unity, because in relation to the community pillar, because through unity we can find connections and network and find connections outside of USF. Like when we graduate, we can find opportunities to help do our careers and stuff like that. And yeah.
So with SPUF, spirit, pride, unity, and friendship, I feel like we've all seen that at many of our events. We were able to bring home that trophy last year, just seeing all those collective cheers, the smiles, the laughs when we brought that trophy out of that hotel. Like, it's very much instilled in our organization, and I just want to help uplift that. In terms of the pillar that it would fall under most, I think it all falls on, under the cultural pillar, because the reason we are all here is because we are proud of our culture. We want to learn more about Filipino culture, and I think all of us just have that shared unity towards spotlighting Filipino culture.
The pillar I think that stands the most from SPUF would be friendship. And not only does it uphold the social aspect of our org, it'll also uphold the community aspect of our org. Not only does Friendship Games give us the opportunity to create relationships with other schools, but allows us to be in a space outside of USF that can foster a friendship that can exist beyond USF. I think that not only does friendship uphold that key part of our pillars, it also gives these people a opportunity to exist beyond their time at USF, not only the physical space, but like relationships beyond their 4 years or 2 years, whatever time that they can experience it somehow.
I love you all. Friendship Games is a very high energy season, and there are many moving parts that will require your attention, starting like as early as June all the way to like the moment you get back, and even after that. So how can you ensure that you are still making space for yourself to thoroughly enjoy and experience the season, especially like that? You ask, feel free.
So some people may see like running against people that know very well as a disadvantage, but I know that if I'm elected, whoever I am serving with, like, I know I can be of use to as my co, and communication always comes first. I always believe in no matter what's going on, like if you need to take a step back or taking on too much, just communicate that with. I'm right here in a position where I'm lucky enough to have someone to lean on, and in that position, I just communicate that with them, make sure that if I am feeling burnt out, I can let them know, and if they're feeling burnt out, they can always let me know anything that's going on.
Yes, like Josh said, it's really important that we know and acknowledge when there is a need to ask for help. With this role, we are lucky to have another role, a co-position to guide or to lean on. But as confident as I can being myself, I know that sometimes things do get hard. So I will fully admit in times that it's tough and a little bit harder for me to conquer alone, that I can confide in my fellow Kasamas, even outside of the activities co, and whatever other leadership positions may be guiding me or supporting me at that time. I feel no fear in admitting that I need a little bit of help sometimes.
Yeah, I would also say communication is key, and being transparent with your co and having trust in your co. Even outside of just your co, I can ask help from the other executive board members, and what was I gonna say? And I want to allow my co to be comfortable in helping or asking for help if they are feeling burnt out, because I don't want them to feel burnt out because of their position as an AD. Maybe it could be because of school, but I want to allow them not to feel burnt out.
As much as I want to be in space, like there are things that are more important to it, like yourself. So just making that clear to all leadership, and yeah.
For me, if I sense that Sama's spirits and energy are a little low, I want to be the one to help set the tone, talk to my coach, talk to the other leads, go hype up everybody. But then if in turn when I'm feeling a little down or I'm feeling burnt out, I need to communicate that with everyone else, like I said earlier. And step back, recollect myself, and when I'm prepared, I can come back into the space, because I don't want to bring everyone down if I'm feeling down.
Activities co-director, this is kind of similar to John's question in a little bit. So activities co-director is typically seen as a primarily social position. Then it's true that its main role is to fall into that category, and that makes total sense. But as board members, it's really important that you make space for every aspect of this Samhana's totality, and that includes all the pillars, all the different moving parts. Despite having a lot of social events to but to kind of oversee as like your main responsibility, how do you plan to support and uplift the three other pillars of Isamahan through your work as a lead?
One of the events that I had in mind was obviously like the creative space for people to like make their own DIY things to support ourselves in like these event-heavy seasons. Not only during those times, but I figured as your activities co-director, it would also be good to initiate social contact and social events for when the focus is not necessarily on like connections with one another. During PCN season, excuse me. During PCN season, a lot of people maybe just focus on their aspect, their responsibility. And I think that if we hosted, one of the things I had in mind was collaboration with the PCN director. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a collaboration with them, but it can be just an event in the spring season to recenter the fact that we can create connections in this space. We can create interpersonal connections, communicate through things that may be a little tough for us to like understand, navigating through the cultural pillar of our org, navigating through the social pillar of our org, especially if PCN might be the only thing that you interact with, the only event that you participated in this space. So I would be open to collaboration with the other aspects and the other events of the semester, so that we can work to like shape the social and inspire social and community amongst one another.
I would like to agree with Jennifer. I would like to collaborate with the other board members. Like I said in my speech, I want to host more events throughout the year, other than just FG and being able to connect it to the social pillar. Like I would like to collaborate with Daro and want to host an event where we can speak to alumni, have some networking meetings, like resume workshops, like Jeremiah mentioned earlier, and then I can collab with our CRD, our PCN director, and host events where we can speak on our culture and learn more about our culture, as well as collaborating with our campus CDs and trying to host events where we discuss the political and community affairs, not only here in USF, but outside of our
So for the social pillar, as I said earlier, like Kasamahan for many people is an outlet, and after our main season of FG season, I still want to make sure that Kasamas have something to look forward to. Whether it's like even small, like maybe on UC4 type events where it's just you know that people are going to be there and you need to talk and even give ideas for any events. And as I said earlier, everyone has a different interest, so just making sure that everyone finds their footing in this org, this social pillar. Academic and pre-professional, as someone who comes from a more small program in terms of the major, I want to assist in helping new Kasamas finding other Kasamas who share the major with them to assist in getting advice with classes or what classes to take, stuff like that. And the pre-professional aspect, I know it kind of touches more upon like what your endeavors are post graduation, but I think that the pre-professional pillar as like this is like one of the last opportunities to be in a community like this before you graduate, before you go into the workforce. And I just want to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to take advantage of this space before they graduate and be in like a family like ours. The community and political pillar, like DC said, working with the KCD to bring awareness to whatever social and civil crises are going on. I put in my platform, but like GBM Jam brings awareness to glioblastoma. I kind of want to use our other talent showcase like Underrated, and attach like some cultural awareness, political awareness to that with whatever's going on socially or civilly. And then last one with our cultural pillar. Our events, like opening events like FG practices and stuff, and such, are the segues for people to join, for new people to join the org, and it could be the first domino to fall in coming to more events and learning more about our vast culture. So, which includes like coming to more cultural workshops, and that will eventually lead to coming to PCN. So just upholding the cultural pillar is serving as the segue into our organization.
So I had the privilege to experience Friendship Games as y'all, and you guys added your own magic to Friendship Games, and I had a question. Given that, I want to ask if you guys have any ideas that you can share that may evolve Friendship Games and other recurring events like GBM Jam. Yeah, I'll leave it as that.
I would like to do have Olympics become more annual. I know it's been a little on and off. I had it on my first freshman year, and then we're doing it again this year. And so I hope to implement that into Samahan, as well as collaborating with outside organizations. Similar to NorCal Picnic, if you guys aren't aware, it's like a little picnic type thing before Friendship Game for all the NorCal schools to come down and just meet up and socialize. Like it's something like that. It's more like broadening our community to not just our campus.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I can try. I'll skip the privilege part. So I was wondering if you have any ideas you can share that can allow to have recurring events like Friendship Games and GBM Jam and evolve it in its current form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know last year. Wait, I can go right. Okay. I know last year, or like maybe even 2 years ago, we had like a little bit of a relationship with Couple Gardens. So I wanted to bring back the sense of community and connecting with the SF Philippine community. One of the events that I had in mind was working with the Couple Gardens. I know that they had volunteer opportunities for like students, like you could serve for like maybe a couple hours, and then you get into like the events and you get to experience that culture. I think it's really important for us to set up relationships outside of this space, and especially in the space that we're growing in, so that we can like evolve professionally, evolve culturally, evolve socially. So one of the events that I think I could maybe bring back or start or even like refine is our relationship with Couple Gardens and the possibility of working with them in the future.
In terms of, what was the word you used? Like, repeat your questions. Just so I can
Sure thing. I said, is there any ideas that you have that feature that potentially will evolve recurring events?
There it is.
There you
Thank you. Okay, so in terms of evolving FG, one thing I really want to do is make it more like the skip writing, because like we do have some brilliant minds here, like Elizabeth here and everyone in skit committee, who have their time to shine in PCN, but also like we have our skit that happens at FG, and I want to give people time to shine there too. Like once we release our theme, we could have some sort of like open table writing, like open forum type thing to incorporate ideas for a skit. Another thing I want to do is we had our little celebration after we came back from FG with that trophy, and I kind of want to make that a staple. Like even if we will win a trophy, but no matter what happens there, like I just want to be able to celebrate the past month and a half, 2 months of hard work, because it'll definitely have paid off in that long day there over in Fullerton. And one new idea I want to do, we have the opportunity to live in such a diverse city with so much to explore, so much that even a lot of fourth years still haven't explored. So something like a scavenger hunt amazing race type thing, where you could like go along with other Kasamas to parts of the city that you haven't explored, and also to like drive up that competition aspect, because really after FG, that competitive drive is not able to be shown too much after that weekend in October. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there are a lot of logistical aspects, especially of FG. And of course, everything else is small, but for FG, you have to make sure that the hotels are booked, that you know how many people are going, which people are on what rooms, which people are on what bus, who's not going back on that bus, how everybody's getting it in, and da. There's deadlines you have to meet with CASA, with the bus, with the hotel, just a lot going on. So this is more of like a logistical question, but how can you make sure, and in collaboration with the co-director, to make sure that you're meeting all of these deadlines and that you're doing so in a way that will successfully get you and
So I guess it just starts with communication again and being organized. I would probably try to talk to my co and be like, hey, let's share a Google Calendar or something like that, and just have all the important dates on there. And then when it comes to crunch time, like when we're going down there for friendship games, open it up to executive board and set down the rules and like stuff that's they need to know in order for everyone to be safe and so that Kasamas don't have to worry about, oh, how am I gonna get back? Oh, who am I gonna room with? I don't know. But yeah, I just want them to be comfortable and feel safe.
Yeah, like Christelle said, communication is really key. When even just starting to think about this role, I had spoken to someone in ASUSF to see what like budgeting looks like, to see what communication between the other orgs that we have to go through and the other networks that we have to go through for this position would be. So not only would I be geared to communicate between our e-board and the people that I'm leading, I think it's also really important that we communicate and organize efficiently with the orgs and the networks that we have to go through from the USF. Yeah.
As Isu said, communication and organization is key. So just always staying in contact with PASA or whatever external parties we need to keep in contact with to make sure that we aren't behind on anything. We don't want to be the school that is behind on anything. More logistically, something I really want to do is try to help decrease the dues for FG. So working with the fund treasurer to have fundraisers specifically, purpose to lower dues for Kasamas, because we want to make sure that everyone feels welcome and is financially able to attend friendship games. Another thing that I think the Kasama reps touched on is we do use Slack, but Slack isn't always the most efficient form of communication. So something I think we could do is use something like, I think it's called Remind, where if you just submit your phone number, like you could mass text everyone, because in a day where leaving to FG, we're all scrambling around campus, making sure that everyone's on the bus, everyone's in their hotel rooms, sleeping, make sure everyone gets to the bus on time, and make sure we leave Fullerton on time to come back and nobody's left behind. So just some logistics. I thought that, yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Let me think and ask this. Okay. This is a silly question. So just say to the person that comes to your mind, if you could be, okay, all three quotes FG. If you could be any one of the props that we brought to FG this year, what would you be and why?
Me! I want to be the glove because it was so cool. This little egg, especially when the fingers really touched. Yeah, I thought it was also really cool how like all the gems, it was like pretty pretty.
Thank you.
I thought that was cool.
I want to be her snap sign.
Oh, I want to be my snap sign now.
It was just, it was something that was always funny to like try to time on time and make sure that everyone knew what was going on. So it was really cool.
I like everyone's little makeshift costumes, because that really, I feel like to me that made like everything come to fruition. Like you can see it. Like before then, it was just like theoretical, like someone with the galaxy. How are we gonna look? And then now out there on the field, you say, oh. Yeah, that's Mantis. Oh, that's Goo. Yeah, you got the glasses. Yeah.